Let's begin the show. The UN Security Council has declared 2611 mastermind Hafeez Saeed's brother-in-law a global terrorist. They have put curbs on his movements as well as his assets. United Nations has listed Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba leader Abdul Rehman Makki as a global terrorist under the 1267 UN Sanctions Committee. Makki has been involved in raising funds, recruiting and radicalizing youth to violence and planning attacks in India, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. A report.
The United Nations Security Council has listed Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rehman Makki as a global terrorist under the 1267 UN Sanctions Committee. This listing comes after China last year blocked India's attempt to name the Lashkar-e-Taiba leader a global terrorist. With this move, the NWSA has placed a travel ban, asset freeze and arms embargo on Makki. Makki is the brother-in-law of Lashkar chief and 2611 mastermind Hafeez Saeed. He has been involved in raising funds, recruiting and radicalizing youth to violence and planning attacks in India, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. Also, he has occupied various leadership roles within LET and played a major role in raising funds for LET operations.
We welcome the decision of the UN Security Council's ISI and Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee to list Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist Abdul Rehman Makki, who is also the brother-in-law of LET leader Hafeez Saeed. Makki has occupied various leadership roles in the LET, including raising funds for the organization. Threats from terrorist organizations in the region remain high, and listings and sanctions by the UN Security Council are an effective tool to curb such threats and dismantle terror infrastructure in the region. India remains committed to pursuing a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism and will continue to press the international community to take credible, verifiable, and irreversible action against terrorism.
In June 2022, India slammed China for blocking India-US joint proposal to designate Makki as a global terrorist. Earlier, China had stalled India's bid to list Masood Azhar as a global terrorist at least 4 times in the last 10 years.
Politics should never ever provide cover to evade accountability, nor indeed to facilitate impunity. Regrettably, we have seen this of late in this very chamber when it comes to sanctioning of some of the world's most dreaded terrorists. If egregious attacks committed in broad daylight are left unpunished, this Council must reflect on the signals we are sending on impunity. There must be consistency if we are to ensure credibility.
The United Nations had finally designated Masood as a global terrorist in 2019. And the latest listing comes after a gap of 3 years. China has finally removed its hold on the listing of the Pakistan-based terrorist, and reports suggest that China may have come under international pressure to list Makki as a global terrorist. As per US State Department in 2020, an anti-terrorism court in Pakistan convicted him of terrorism financing and sentenced him to prison. However, despite these actions, the terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba remains active in Pakistan and continues to disturb peace and stability in the India's union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. According to US congressional report, Pakistan is also home to 12 foreign terror organizations, 5 being India-centric, including Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. US officials have also identified Pakistan as a base of operations for numerous armed and non-state terrorist groups, some of which have existed since the 1980s. From radicalization of its youth to training and arming them for anti-India activities, Pakistan continues to keep terror outfits as part of its statecraft.